Unfiltered
with David Bauder.
Welcome back to the Exercise Reset here at Vitality Unfiltered. I'm David Bauder, your host. Over the last 3 episodes, we built something really important. First, we changed the way we think. We stopped trying to exercise and started becoming someone who exercises. Then we learned that starting small isn't a weakness. It's actually the smartest way to build consistency. Last week, we talked about building systems so that you don't have to rely on motivation every day. Today, I want to walk and talk about something almost everybody experiences, but very few people expect. I call it the wall. And if you ever started an exercise program before and you eventually quit, there's a good chance you already met it. The good news, hitting the wall doesn't mean you're failing. It actually means you're progressing. Today, I'm going to explain why. Now, back to the opening exercise that we did all of the previous 3 weeks. Let's begin with that the same way we did every week. Complete this sentence. I am becoming someone who exercises because blank. Hopefully that sentence is becoming easier to answer each week, and hopefully it's becoming part of who you are. Because today, you're going to need it. The honeymoon phase always ends. Think back to almost anything new that you've ever started. A new job, a new hobby, a new relationship. The excitement is incredible. Everything feels fresh. Exercise is exactly the same way. The first week, you're excited. The second week, you're starting to feel proud of yourself. Maybe you're even noticing a little bit more energy. And then somewhere around week 3 or 4, or maybe even week 6, something changes. The excitement fades. The workouts don't feel exciting anymore. The scale stops moving. Your body starts to feel sore. And suddenly, the thought enters your mind. Maybe this just isn't working for me. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the wall. The biggest lie your brain will ever tell you. Your brain is designed to conserve energy. It likes comfort. It likes routine. It doesn't particularly enjoy changes. So when exercise becomes difficult, your brain begins to negotiate. Maybe you've heard these thoughts in your mind. I'll skip today. I deserve a break. I'll make it up tomorrow. I've been busy. I'm too tired. I've already missed 3 days. I guess I'm back at square one. Here's the important part. Those thoughts are completely normal. Everyone has them. Successful people have them. Professional athletes have them. The difference isn't who has those thoughts. The difference is who listens to them. Now, the plateau that discourages everyone. One of the biggest reasons people quit is because they stop seeing progress. Maybe you've been walking consistently. Maybe you've been eating better. Maybe you've been feeling stronger, but the scale hasn't changed in 2 weeks. So you assume it's not working. Let me tell you something. I say this to every patient and all the time. Your body is changing long before your mirror and your scale ever catches up. Let me say it again. Your body is changing long before your mirror and your scale ever catches up. Your heart is becoming stronger. Your muscles are adapting. Your blood sugar is improving. Your blood pressure may have already changed. Your confidence is growing. But because you can't always see those changes immediately, you're assuming nothing is happening. Don't confuse invisible progress with no progress. Now, stop expecting a straight line. I like to think of it as more like the stock market. It kind of goes in all directions a lot of times, but it doesn't go straight down like a linear arrow. I think one of the common mistakes people think is they're expecting improvement to happen in a very straight linear line all the way to their goal. And it doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. Some weeks you'll exercise 5 days. Some weeks you'll only get 2 in. Some weeks you'll feel amazing. Some weeks you'll feel exhausted. Some weeks you're traveling. Some weeks you'll be sick. This isn't failure. This is just simply normal life. The people who stay healthy for decades aren't the people with perfect streaks. They're the people who always come back. And they embrace discomfort to some extent. Perfection is the enemy. We talked about this in an earlier show. One missed workout doesn't matter. One missed week doesn't even matter that very much. What really matters is what happens next. I see it in the clinic with patients. Someone misses 3 workouts. Then they say, I've already messed up. So they quit completely. I like to use the example of brushing your teeth. Imagine brushing your teeth and you forgot to brush your teeth yesterday. Does that mean you're going to stop brushing your teeth the rest of your life? No, of course not. You'd brush your teeth today. And exercise deserves the same mindset. Don't let one mistake become a permanent decision. I like to use something called the 2-minute restart. It's one of my favorite strategies. When you've been away from exercise, don't try to restart right where you left off. Restart ridiculously small. Walk for 2 minutes, stretch, walk around the house. Do 5 body squats. The goal isn't fitness. The goal is to restart the momentum that you lost. Action creates action. Waiting creates more waiting. We want to be on the action side of the house. Never miss twice. We talked about this also 2 weeks ago. Today, I want to reinforce it. Life is going to interrupt your routine. It's a guarantee. Vacations, work, illness, family, weather. The goal is not perfection. The goal is simply this: never miss twice. Miss Monday, walk Tuesday. Miss 3 days, start today. Don't spend another week thinking about restarting. You need to restart immediately. Make the decision. Lower expectations, not commitment. We addressed this also in a previous episode. Sometimes life becomes overwhelming. You can't allocate the total amount of time to exercise that you want to. Your schedule changes, a family member gets sick, you get sick, you're working overtime. This is not the time to quit. This is the time to adjust. Instead of 60 minutes, do 15. Instead of lifting weights, take a walk. Instead of skipping completely, do something. Protect the habit. Put a fence around it. Put stakes around it. Guard the habit like it's the most important thing there is. That is your key. Even if you temporarily reduce the workout, because habits disappear when we stop completely. They survive when we adapt. Now, the mindset minute. Today's mindset barrier is one almost everyone experiences. I've already fallen behind. Let me ask you, behind compared to who? There is no finish line. There isn't a competition. Your only competition should be the person you were 6 months ago. Every time you restart, you're winning. Not because you're perfect, but because you refuse to quit. Now, what I've learned from my patients over years, I've watched patients lose 50 pounds, 70 pounds, 100 pounds. I had a gentleman go from 396 pounds to 211 pounds. What made them different? It wasn't genetics, it wasn't motivation, it wasn't luck. They simply stopped believing that one bad day erased all their progress. They expected setbacks. When they missed a workout, they came back. When they gained 5 pounds, they kept going. When life got busy, they adjusted. That might be the biggest lesson I've learned in medicine. Success belongs to the people who return, not the people who never stumble. Think bigger than today. One workout doesn't change your life. Neither does one missed workout. What changes your life is what you repeatedly do over years. Don't judge your success by today. Judge it by your direction. Are you moving forward, even slowly? And that is success. This week's challenge is different. I actually want you to plan for failure, not because I expect you to quit. I want you to overcome the feeling of quitting because I expect life to happen. Now, write down your answers. I'm going to ask you 4 questions, and I want you to write down the answers to all 4 of these questions. What will you do if you miss a workout? Number 2, what will you do if I get sick? What will you do if I go on vacation? And what will you do if work gets overwhelming? Have the answers before it happens. Then promise yourself one thing: no matter what happens, I will never miss twice. Now, in closing, let me leave you with one final thought. The wall isn't where people fail. The wall is where most people decide who they're going to become. Anyone can exercise when they're motivated. Anyone can exercise when everything is going well. The people who change are the ones who continue after motivation disappears, when life gets messy, when progress slows, when nobody is watching. That's where lifelong habits are built. Now, next week, we're going to wrap up this 5-part series by talking about what happens after exercise becomes a habit. How do you continue to grow? How do you stay healthy for decades? How do you stop thinking of exercise as something you do and start seeing it as simply part of who you are? That's what we'll cover in the final episode. And until then, keep showing up, keep adapting, and remember, your success isn't determined by how many times you stumble. It's determined by how many times you get back up. Thank you for joining me on episode 4 of the Exercise Reset on Vitality Unfiltered, and we will see you next week.